As someone who gets anxious at the thought of a Pixar sequel these days, I had a very curious suspicion when it came to Inside Out 2 because of how much the original left a massive impact on me as a kid. The original was one of the best Pixar movies to come out during the 2010s and reminded a lot of people why Pixar deserved its renaissance from 1995 to 2010. It was heartbreaking, emotionally resonant, and left people in awe at the creativity and hard work put behind it. So it's no surprise a movie like that would be greenlit for a sequel, and yet it seemed like it wouldn't have happened. It took another 5 years for the sequel to be put into production, and finally, with 4 years of work put into it, the movie was finally released this past weekend, and I took the time out of my day to give the film a watch to see if it would hit me just as hard as the original. And, well, yeah, this movie fucked me up. I couldn't have thought of anything hitting me as hard as the Bing Bong scene in the first movie, but there's a lot of scenes in the sequel that had me reeling in pain because of how relatable it was. Riley is now 13 in this movie, having entered her teenage years, and the film follows her as she is starting her puberty phase. And now being 20 years old, I feel so bad for my parents, because I can imagine how horrible I was at 13. I'm sorry. But with that comes a whole lot of new emotions that enter her brain, being boredom, envy, embarrassment, nostalgia, and the biggest of them all, anxiety. I knew the moment I saw this orange thing that it would hit a few chords deep within me. I'm not someone who deals with anxiety on a crazy level anymore, but during my early high school years, this little pest took control of my very being. So seeing the emotion take over the console in her brain, thinking of every possible outcome before it even happens, felt way too real to me. I was just sitting in my seat like, I still think like this half the time. So it was really refreshing to see how authentic this little creature could represent for me, and I'm sure a lot of other people as well. There are moments where anxiety makes a bunch of Riley's imagination think of every horrible outcome that could possibly occur if she fails this one decision. And you can see her pacing back and forth in her bed, unable to sleep, and the emotions will be like, she's up too early, she's never up like this. And it's just so true to me, because I remember how my internal body clock shifted going into my teenage years, going to bed much later, or overthinking, leaving you exhausted in the mornings, and totally out of whack. Was just so relatable, man. The movie is made with a lot of care behind it. You can even see it in the director of the film in behind the scenes interviews, with how much research was put into the project, from talking to really intellectual people about this kind of topic, to taking years to make sure everything was legitimate before starting production on the film. I really liked how the main antagonist wasn't even an antagonist. Anxiety was simply a character that was looking out for Riley just as much as the other emotions are, but it just got caught up in the insecurity of the future that it took things too far for the other characters. Like, that's just so real, man. Having anxiety isn't just a negative trait, it's simply an emotion meant to look out for whoever is experiencing that current emotion at the moment. And this movie does a really great job at letting the audience know that. And I'm glad the movie does this for every single emotion too. For instance, envy isn't a toxic emotion that wishes harmful characteristics onto Riley or makes her compare herself too much. Instead, it's more envious in admiration for others' qualities or features that they would wish to have, which was nice to see too. Having the embarrassment emotion be courageous and helping sadness in a moment of weakness was awesome to see as well, since embarrassment is usually the side effect of missed courage. And as much as the new crew is treated with a lot of nuance and respect, the original characters from the first are treated with a lot of care as well. Since joy and sadness controlled most of the story in the first one, the sequel finds the entire gang this time journeying through Riley's mind to help restore her sense of self. You get a lot of really funny scenes with them, including suppressed emotions, bottling up of your emotions, and sarcasm literally being a chasm that makes anything you say sarcastic when you shout across it.
Hey, I bet you're the best crane crew in the world.
Just really funny stuff. There's also so many amazing character moments between the original gang too. For instance, Joy trying to keep a positive attitude all the time and being headstrong in decision making, yet she breaks down because she keeps getting tormented by the other emotions who keep complaining about her leadership, causing her to get upset and angry as a result, almost giving up the journey. Yet anger tells her that she can't quit and that Riley needs them to make it back. And I'm so glad they made anger do this too, because I inferred it as anger being the leading cause of determination and perseverance, keeping the rest of the emotions going, because it does take a bit of anger to keep yourself going during a specific journey, lighting that flame out from under you to make you keep going. Another awesome bit was Joy saying,
maybe this is what happens when you grow up. You feel less joy.
This line alone made me rethink like my whole day, man. God damn. The voice actors do a really good job here too. Everyone from the returning cast is great, and those who are new here are also really freaking good in their parts too. Hawke especially as anxiety. In the final act, Riley deals with an anxiety attack, and I don't think I've ever seen a perfect visual representation of how it feels to endure one of these in my life. Having anxiety move way too fast, pressing buttons like it's your brain firing its synapses on all cylinders, that it can't remove itself from the console, and taking complete control until Joy comes in to calm the anxiety down and actually make Riley feel at peace with herself. Like, holy shit, dude. Please go watch this film. It's been a while since I've seen a Disney related film that I actually enjoyed, but I'm happy Pixar is the company to do it. I knew they still had it in them to make a complete banger of a film, and this movie proves it. The animation is also undoubtedly beautiful, so much so that every frame in this film looks like it could be the background for someone's computer screen. This movie resonated with me very deeply, and I'd say I relate to this movie a lot more than I did with the first one, and I'd definitely watch this one again too. I really hope they continue to make sequels every decade as Riley gets older, because this is the type of franchise that would greatly benefit from more movies. Seeing how the brain develops into her 20s, 30s, and so on, which emotions take center stage more or fall into the background, I think it would be really cool. There was another emotion that made a cameo appearance in the film, which was nostalgia, who was portrayed as like this old elderly woman, and the joke was that all the other emotions are forcing her to stay out of the control room until Riley gets older. I don't know, thought that was a really funny bit, but I mean, nowadays 13-year-olds are having nostalgia for the days when they were like 6, so I guess that emotion holds no boundaries. Again, I highly encourage you all go and give this movie a watch. It's genuinely really good. I haven't felt moved from a Pixar film since Soul, so if you want to see an absolute gem of a film that's emotionally resonant and beautifully animated, you can't go wrong with this one. I hope you all enjoyed this quick review of Inside Out 2. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button and comment down below what you thought of the movie as well if you've seen it. The more engagement this video gets, the more YouTube will show it to other people, and that's what keeps the lights on here for me, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I have for today, guys. I'll see you all very soon. Peace out.